evening, everyone, and welcome to Temple Business News Nightly. I'm your host, Steve Lauer. Tonight on Technology Corner, we deal with the topic of cloud computing. Hyped by some as a revolutionary change to the way computing is done, and dismissed by others as just another fad, cloud computing has received a great deal of attention lately. Despite dissenting views, it's clear that cloud services are growing and will continue to grow in the near future. According to Gartner, a leading technology research company, sales of cloud services are projected to grow from $68.3 billion in 2010 to over $100 billion by 2012. This has garnered the attention of many big-name tech companies such as Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, all of which have developed their own versions of cloud technology to capture a piece of this growing market. But even with all the media attention and hype, cloud computing is still an idea that engenders confusion among many. This is evidenced by a recent survey conducted by HubSpot, a leading integration platform company. While 59% of companies polled stated that moving to the cloud is a strategic direction for their organization, 36% of those companies with no plans to move to cloud cited not understanding cloud benefits as the primary reason why. It's easy to see why this confusion exists. Ask 5 different experts and you're likely to receive 5 different interpretations of what cloud computing is. It seems that all the buzz has created a degree of information overload. To help cut through the clutter, we've interviewed experts from universities and businesses to gain a broad understanding of what cloud computing is and how it impacts businesses and consumers. First, we met up with Charissa Fahnestock, a PhD at Temple University who leads the university's research team on cloud computing. Hi, Charissa. Thank you for taking the time to be on the show.
Thanks for having me.
To start, could you explain to our audience what cloud computing really is?
Sure, Steve. At a basic level, cloud computing is a form of internet computing that allows any user on any device from any location to access their applications and data. Basically, the applications and data are stored on virtual servers and remain available to the user at any time through a standard web browser. To the user, the programs perform as if they were installed locally on their PC or other device and function in real time.
Wait, I'm a little confused. Where is all the data stored? What exactly do you mean by virtual servers?
Well, it's not exactly a virtual server. The cloud infrastructure consists of servers controlled by a cloud provider. Cloud computing allows users to share computing power on these common servers.
Well, so is it possible that I'm actually using cloud computing and not even realize it?
Actually, Steve, you probably do, and you're not alone. Many people who access social media sites where pictures and videos are stored, such as Facebook and YouTube, are using cloud computing. Businesses that use Google Docs or Gmail are also using the cloud. A prime example of cloud computing in the business world is the use of Salesforce.com. Best known for their customer relationship management software, Salesforce enables companies to enter, store, and track data about their customers without purchasing, installing, or maintaining any software or hardware of their own. Salesforce offers a type of cloud computing known as software as a service, which licenses an application to customers through a subscription. Companies pay a flat monthly fee to access these services. Other forms of cloud computing are platform as a service and infrastructure as a service. Platform as a service lets software developers lease all the resources needed to build their own applications. Infrastructure as a service allows customers to lease storage and servers. Other forms include communications as a service and everything as a service.
So are cloud services always charged on a subscription type basis?
Not always. Sometimes cloud services are offered on a pay-per-use basis. This type of offering can be compared to an electricity grid, because users tap into the services they need and are charged on a basis of how much they use.
Can users customize which applications they want to use?
Yeah, they can. One of the key elements of cloud computing is that users can customize and create a uniquely defined experience, just as users can install different programs on their PCs.
That sounds great, Charissa. Thank you for helping us to understand this misunderstood topic.
Well, it was a pleasure being here and sharing that information.
For a business perspective, I interviewed the CEO of Cloud Solutions, a leading provider of cloud services. Phil Zhang has worked in the industry for several years and is regarded by many as an expert in cloud services. Thank you for being on the show today, Phil.
Thank you, Steve. It's great to be here.
So, Phil, can you walk us through how cloud computing can help an organization?
Sure. Businesses and organizations of any size can benefit from cloud computing. However, small and medium-sized businesses tend to see the most value from cloud computing for a number of reasons. Usually, small and medium-sized businesses cannot or do not want to make large capital expenditures for traditional IT hardware, software, and services. Cloud computing users can generally terminate their contract at any time, which eliminates the risk of large IT investments. Also, small and medium-sized businesses generally have flexibility, potentially due to not having much infrastructure existing. And even if they do have existing infrastructure, it's usually not legacy infrastructure, which would make it more complicated to take advantage of cloud solutions.
Well, it sounds great for small and medium companies, but is it possible for larger companies to take advantage of cloud computing?
Yeah. Cloud computing offers businesses and organizations of any size immediate access to a wide range of applications. Also, I've spoken to a large company considering hosting its entire ERP system on cloud. This company currently has its servers in a relatively expensive location, and they also incur extra costs upgrading those servers to increase capacity. Through cloud computing, servers are located in a lower cost location, and there are no worries about needing to upgrade capacity. Also, companies using cloud computing shift responsibility for disaster recovery to the cloud provider, and they don't need to worry because there's so many points of redundancy in the cloud.
Is there anything else you think organizations can benefit from using cloud?
Yeah, the value of cloud computing lies not just in the cost savings, but also the flexibility. First, when potential customers tell me my rates are too high and they could manage their own server for less than my rates, I remind them that there are many factors that go into the cost of a real server. Not only is it the capital outlay, there's also the cost of power, climate control, support and maintenance, licenses, and redundant server and networking technology. And another cost savings for a company using cloud computing would be to have their users use thin clients instead of PCs. A thin client is a very simple computer, used mainly for providing a graphical user interface, or GUI, to the user. How simple, you might ask? Thin clients don't even need hard drives because files are saved to the server, or in this case, the cloud. But costs aside, cloud computing allows for speed, agility, and the ability to grow quickly. There's no need to buy a server based on peak load capacity and then only utilize 10 to 20% of that capacity under normal circumstances, and then there's a delay in upgrading capacity when the peak load increases. To illustrate, the New York Times recently had a data conversion project that would have taken a lot of time and money to complete using traditional IT infrastructure. And then one of their engineers took this month-long project and completed it in only 2 days using Amazon's cloud, and the cost was only $240.
Wow, that's a great example. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Steve. It's great to be here.
So far, we've heard some pretty positive things about cloud computing, as well as its benefits to organizations. However, in order to understand some of the challenges facing its adoption, I have with me Mahesh Sharma, industry analyst at Merrill Lynch, who covers emerging technologies. Hi, Mahesh. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Mahesh, can you tell us some of the challenges that face organizations that want to adopt cloud services?
Sure. I see 4 major issues with cloud computing: data security, legal issues, availability, and lack of standards. Talking about data security, that is the first and the foremost issue. Most of the cloud computing vendors give customers very little control over where data is stored. Amazon S3, though, provides user the option to choose the data to be stored either in US or in Europe, but it doesn't tell them where exactly the data will be. So if the data is encrypted by a key which is not located at the host, data may be accessed by a third party without customer's knowledge. So there is potentially a threat to the confidentiality of the data. The other issue that I see is the legal issue. The data is physically located in a particular country and it is subject to the rules and regulations of that particular country. In the United States, for example, US Patriot Law allows US government to have an access to any of the computer located in the United States. So if I am a European company and I host my applications in Google Cloud and Google stores in the US, and so I might not want a foreign government to take an access over my data without my permission. The next thing is availability. what will happen if Amazon goes out of business? If at the least there is an outage in the site of an Amazon, my business is going to affect definitely. So this is an inherent external risk that any company might not want to take. The fourth issue is the lack of standards. As cloud computing is in a very early stage, there are no fixed standards. Each cloud provider has their own programming language and syntax. So if I need to shift my PHP code from one cloud to the another, I need a significant amount of effort and time to make changes in accordance with the standards followed by the destination cloud. So though open source consortium is working to develop consensus on the early cloud computing standards and practices, but it is going to take some time to arrive at a final conclusion.
So Mahesh, based on these issues, do you think that some industries overall might be hesitant to adopt cloud computing?
Yeah, definitely. All the industry which deal with transactional data management applications like banking applications, airline reservations, e-commerce, supply chain management are not likely to be deployed in the cloud, at least in the near future. Transactional data management applications rely on the asset guarantees that database provides. Cloud providers use shared data system, and when the data is replicated over wide area, system has to make a compromise between availability and consistency. Google Cloud makes a compromise with atomicity. Amazon's cloud make a compromise with consistency and isolation. So I think no transactional application would like to take a risk of compromising with any of the asset properties for the sake of cost. And the other reason why these applications might not go to the cloud is the security. These applications include the lowest level data for the customers, for example, the credit card information. So a company might not want to give away this data to somebody at some location which I'd never know where it is. So because of this reason, I think the transactional applications will take some time to go into the cloud. So overall, I would say small and medium industries may be early adopters of cloud computing because of cost cutting, but large industries, I think there is still much more improvement needed in the cloud.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Mahesh. I appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Hopefully this report has helped all of you gain a better understanding of cloud computing. Whether you believe in its potential or not, many firms are already utilizing some form of cloud computing, and recent studies show this trend is going to continue. From April through July 2010, Gartner surveyed over 1,500 IT budget management professionals in over 40 countries and found that 39% of those surveyed indicated allocating IT budget to cloud computing as a key initiative for their organization. Cloud computing is rapidly taking over traditional IT infrastructure. Cloud will lead to the creation of new products as innovative companies create products that weren't possible before or are less expensive than the competition. Cloud particularly benefits smaller firms or startups who will have an IT infrastructure without investing heavily in hardware. Since capital investment is reduced, the barriers to entry in many industries will be reduced, changing the way those industries operate. Just imagine an entire server rack replaced by a single PC and significantly reduced IT staff. Companies will take advantage of opportunities more quickly because of the flexibility and agility that cloud allows. There will also be an increase in non-traditional PC usage, such as mobile devices and thin clients, as people will no longer require a hard drive to access their data. Cloud has the potential to significantly alter the work environment by providing on-demand services to users regardless of their location. What the future holds for cloud computing is still not fully known. However, what is clear is that cloud computing is here to stay. Well, that concludes our program for this evening. Thank you all for joining me, and you stay classy, Temple University.